Hello, everyone. My name is Beatriz Amaral. I am the cosmetic scientist here at Formula Botanica, and I'm running this Ask the Formulator series for you. And welcome. And today, the question I received is how to figure out if your formulation ingredient is natural. And this is a very common question among our students as well. Is this ingredient natural? Can I use it in my formulations? Is this organic? And I understand, and this topic is not so simple as we wanted it to be, unfortunately. And well, we love botanicals, we love natural ingredients, but things are not black and white. And what is natural is really a very complicated question. And of course, we understand that natural ingredients come from plants or from other natural materials that you can find in nature. But we have a very nice podcast. I think it was our first podcast, all about the topic of shades of green. This is because there are different types of natural ingredients, and I'll explain more about these categories for you. And it gets a little bit complicated at some point. So let me explain. First, we have what we call purely natural ingredients. These are ingredients that are only physically processed. So they are extracted from nature and they suffer no chemical modification. So you can find ingredients like vegetable oils that are pressed from seeds or fruits, for example. You have essential oils, which are distilled. This is a physical process. And the hydrosols, which are byproducts of essential oils production. So you have these natural ingredients like waxes, plant oils, essential oils, that are directly extracted from nature. They aren't really modified. So this is easy. You know that olive oil is extracted from olives. It is cold pressed. So it's very clear that these ingredients can be considered natural. Let's think about what else could be included in this category. Clays. We have many types of ingredients that fall in the purely natural category. But then these ingredients are very nice, and you can only formulate with these purely natural ingredients. That's your choice. That's not a problem. But often we want our formulations to perform in certain ways or to provide certain characteristics. And for that, we may need some functional ingredients that are from natural origin, but chemically processed, so they have these specific properties. Here I'm talking about surfactants, emulsifiers. We have a variety of ingredients, even active ingredients, that their source materials come from nature, so their source materials are plant oils or other parts of plants. And then they go to a lab and they are chemically processed and they become something else derived from these natural ingredients. And then these ingredients have different properties, and there are many natural ingredients that pass through some sort of chemical processing. And that's completely okay and normal. And then you might be asking, how do I know if these chemical processes are sustainable or natural, etc. And then it gets really complicated to analyze these situations because maybe you don't know that much about chemistry. I don't know a lot about these processes as well. I know the basics, but I don't know all the details. And well, if you don't know all the details, it's really complicated to know if there are any kinds of synthetic solvents included in the process. Even if they are not in the final product, sometimes they are used in some steps of the process. So sometimes you have different types of chemical reactions that can be used to fabricate cosmetic ingredients. So you have solvents and chemical solvents that are derived from petroleum, for example, so they are not usually they are not accepted in natural cosmetics. You have some other types of synthetic solvents or chemical processes that are pollutant or for any other reasons are not considered sustainable or green or however you want to call it. So these processes are not usually accepted for making ingredients that will be used in natural and organic cosmetics. And it's really complicated to figure out how your ingredient was processed if it's passed through any of these processes that are not accepted, that use synthetic solvents, for example. And that's the reason why we have certification labels that will tell you if the ingredient has passed through any of those processes or not, and if they are accepted or not for natural and organic certification standards. So these companies are, you need to pay them for their work, and they will evaluate all the processes the ingredient has been through, and they will evaluate all the conditions where the ingredient was produced to see if it fits their criteria of what can be considered natural and green and sustainable or not. So you have certification standards like Cosmos, EcoCert, Natro, and many others around the world. And this will help you figure out if the ingredients in your formula are certified and accepted according to their criteria. And the criteria vary according to the certification standards. So it depends a lot. And you need to be mindful that still these are private companies, you need to pay for the label. So it's a very complex topic because it involves many aspects in ingredient production, in how the process is evaluated, and what is considered to be natural or not. There is not a consensus of all the processes that are accepted in natural or organic cosmetics, and that's why you can choose to trust the certification standards because it makes your life easier. And these certification standards, they provide a database for their clients. Some of them are open and anyone can access them. Sometimes you need to be a client and pay them to access their databases. And then you know which ingredients are accepted according to their criteria of what is natural or what is not. And usually we like to follow the Cosmos and natural standards because they are very comprehensive, easy to follow. It's easy to find materials about their criteria. And suppliers usually will tell you if their ingredients are certified or not. So it makes our lives easier and you don't have to analyze all the processes of your ingredient and find this information because suppliers not always will tell you this. Okay, and that's for our second category, which is naturally derived ingredients. Then we have a third category, which is what we call nature identical ingredients. And these are ingredients that can be found in nature. They can be extracted from plants or other sources, but their extraction is not really sustainable and it's not that easy, or for any other reasons, it's not practical to extract these ingredients directly from nature. It is easier and sometimes even more sustainable to make them synthetically in a lab. So let me give you an example so you understand what I'm talking about. We have, for example, citric acid. Citric acid is used in food industry, cosmetics industry, pharmaceutical industry, and others. And it can be extracted from citrics like orange, lemon, or other fruits, but it's not really practical. Can you imagine the amount of fruits that you would need to extract the amount of citric acid that the industry uses every day? It is like a lot. So it's easier and more practical and sustainable to produce it in the lab. And in these cases, even the natural certification standards accept these ingredients. You find that many preservatives, even though they are accepted by natural certification standards, they are still synthetic. You find pH adjusters, you find a few ingredients that still are nature identical. And they are used very often in natural cosmetics, and that is totally okay. And I'm telling you this so you can make your choices. And if you're more informed about the differences and from the nuances in understanding what a natural ingredient is or not, I think it's easier for you to decide if you want to use each of these ingredients. And it's really hard because I feel that our students and people that want to work with natural ingredients, they want a simple answer and just want us to say this ingredient's natural, this one is not. And sometimes there are gray areas, or as we say, shades of green. So you can see if your ethos fit in some of these categories. If you want to use only purely natural ingredients, that's totally okay. Or if you want these processed ingredients that will bring other characteristics to your formulas, but knowing they are chemically processed, even though they may be using green processes and the source ingredients are are extracted directly from nature. And I feel people fear chemistry a lot, and it's interesting because we see chemicals every day. Everything around us is chemical. Water is a chemical. You have many particles in the air, in everything. And there are many chemical reactions that you surely already know about. You just didn't see them through this aspect. So, for example, soap making. To create soap, you react an oil with an alkali, a base like sodium hydroxide, but you can extract alkalis from ashes as well. So, in ancient times, people made soap by making this mixture with ashes and processing the ashes, then mixing it with fat. And nowadays, we use other kinds of processed alkalis like sodium hydroxide to make it react with fats to produce soap and glycerin. So this is considered a natural chemical process. It's been used for ages, and that's one of the processes that can be used to produce some types of surfactants, because soaps are surfactants. That mean they are cleansers, they make foam. Okay, I'm digressing a little bit. So I just wanted you to understand that saying that ingredients have passed through chemical process doesn't mean they are not natural anymore or that they are harmful. There are lots of natural or green chemical processes, and it is totally fine to use these ingredients if you want to. There are amazing ingredients, amazing emulsifiers, surfactants that you can use that are derived from natural sources, and it's up to you to choose the ingredients you want to use according to your own concept of what is natural or not. And well, I hope I've helped a little bit to help you understand what we consider natural or not. And that's it for today, I think. And thank you for joining me, and see you next time. If you have any questions for me, you can leave them in the comments.